Welcome to A Few Minutes with the CEO. My name is Al O'Grady, and for the next few minutes, we'll be talking to the President and CEO of Claim Post Resources, Mr. Charles Gryba. Claim Post Resources has a number of projects underway, and they're all in the Timmins area. The company has over 1,100 state claim units and 63 patented claims, covering an area of approximately 200 square kilometers. The company has just come out with a press release about its recent drill program, and we'll be talking more about that in just a moment. Claim Post Resources trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol CPS, as in Charlie Peter Samuel. Mr. Gryba, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, Charles, report card time. Today, you just came out with some drill results on your Dayton and racetrack properties. What's the latest? What's going on?
We've been drilling a historical low-grade gold zone called Dayton. It's immediately straight south of Timmins, just off Pine Street. As we followed it west, we about a kilometer further west, we've hit a major porphyry system. In the last press release we put out, we had 15 gold intersections on line 5900. We moved north 50 meters to check the geology above the 15 intersections, and it turns out that the mineralization is confined to the porphyry or just the immediate boundary of the porphyry. When you find one of these porphyries, you've got to find where is the mineralization directly related to the porphyry, or is the mineralization more related to some of the rocks around it? In this case, we've now proven that we actually have to explore the porphyry unit itself.
Okay, now as far as the drilling results are concerned, did it pretty much meet your expectations? Were you surprised by it? What's your reaction overall?
I was a bit surprised. I expected the gold mineralization to go vertically up into the chloride schists, but it looks like the chloride schists maybe they weren't brittle enough to allow depositing of the gold mineralization. The second hole we drilled in the porphyry, we drilled it another 800 or so meters to the south. We were looking for the southern contact of the porphyry, and we certainly did intersect porphyry all the way, other than with the diabase dike. That second hole, we don't have assays back. In general, we've got 1% to 2% pyrite. We got some minor quartz veining. So we'll see in the next couple of weeks whether that hole runs.
I understand there was a deep anomaly over on racetrack, and I think that certainly caught your eye. What's the latest with that?
Since the last time we talked, we drilled 3 holes. Each one of them ended up in major faults. Well, we were in fault material basically right from surface. The driller was able to get down 500-600 meters. Basically, all 3 holes jammed. So that was as far as we could go with that drill. The advantage of getting the hole down, a couple holes down 500 meters, is we can do a down-the-hole survey now, and we're going to do down-the-hole IP. The airborne target, we're pushing the limits of airborne survey, but we picked up a strong anomaly starting about 700 meters below surface. 50% of the geophysicists would say that that's too deep, you shouldn't be able to see it. But I'm encouraged if I'm seeing something down at that depth on 3 different lines. We got within a couple hundred meters of the target, so we'll do a down-the-hole IP survey, and that should allow us to confirm that we have a real target and where the strongest location is relative to the drill holes. We'll color a 4th diamond drill hole and probably drill a very steep hole, 80 to 90 degrees, to hit the main target that shows up in the IP survey.
Okay, what sort of timeline are we talking about? You mentioned the downhole IP survey. Is that going to be happening in the next 3 months or so, or is that even going to be going even longer than that?
No, the IP survey takes 2 days, and it's starting. The crews are moving today, so it'll be done in the next 2 or 3 days.
The reason I was asking in terms of timeline, what can shareholders expect from the company on this project, say, for the next 3 months?
Right now, we're drilling on our McLaren property. We drilled 4 or 5 holes for goldstone. We've gotten visually very interesting results. For example, just on strike with our main McLaren gold horizon, we've intersected green carbonates, which is always a very interesting feature along the Porcupine-Destor, because green carbonates have always been used as the marker horizon for the actual Porcupine-Destor fault itself. We're 1 or 2 miles south of where the Porcupine-Destor should be, and we're hitting green carbonate, so that's very encouraging. I guess within a couple days we'll be collaring a drill hole on the McLaren property below the small pit that was mined back in the 1920s or early 30s. There was a high-grade gold vein system going below that, so we're going to put a hole through, and we expect to hit 2 or 3 high-grade veins in the drill hole that we'll start this week.
Yeah, you're in a very mineral-rich area, and this is more than just an area play, isn't it?
I've got very specific targets. Like the main Timmins camp in Tisdale Township seems to stop to the west, restart again 20 miles away. There's gold virtually all the way along the Dester to the east. There should be other satellite deposits around the Hollinger-McIntyre Dome system. So we're looking in Delorel Township to the south of the old Honor, Delnite, Buffalo Anchorite mines. And specifically, I'm looking for new gold systems around Timmins. With the Cisco agreement in Mount Joy Township, if the Hollinger-McIntyre gold system goes to the northwest, we have it covered there. From Timmins, from the Hollinger to Lakeshore is about 20 miles, and other than exploring a porphyry almost next door to Lakeshore, there's 15 to 20 miles of no gold systems along the Dester. So it's either to the north or to the south of where the current Dester is shown on the map.
Let's talk about financing for a second. Obviously, you've got lots of projects on the go, and you still have a lot of work to do. As a company, are you well financed for these initiatives?
Yes. We raised $1.4 million for flow-through exploration for 2011. We've spent about $600,000 to date. So we've got $800,000 to spend between now and Christmas, and we've been continuously drilling since Christmas with one diamond drill, and we added a second diamond drill to do the deep drill holes on Dayton, but we've gone back to just drilling with a single drill. So we can afford to continue to drill with one drill from now till the end of the year. But in addition, we're going to do a whole bunch of line cutting and MMI surveys, especially on the Dayton racetrack property, to look for other gold systems. When you end up with 20 or 30 square kilometers of ground, and you could have have gold systems every 500 meters or so, it would take years to find a new gold system, or to find out if you're missing any gold system. It could take you years of exploration work to sort of know whether you've found everything that's there, or you've just simply missed a gold system because you didn't drill a particular part of the property. We're doing MMI. It looks like MMI works to show gold systems in the underlying geology, even if there's a bit of clay on top. So we're doing an MMI program every 500 meters for the entire strike length, which is 12 kilometers. So we're doing 25, 30 lines of MMI to see if there's other gold horizons that are parallel to the Dayton gold horizon. Okay,
Charles, you gave us a pretty good agenda, if you will, as to what you're going to be doing in the short term, certainly for the summer and also for this year. Maybe you can share with us what your long-term goals would be, say 2-3 years down the road.
I guess the main thing with Timmins is we can spend about $1 million to $1.5 million a year on exploration, and that's what we're staffed up to do. And that's sort of an efficient amount of work for one geologist, basically one geologist and a couple helpers. I plan to continue to raise $1 million or so a year flow through for the next couple of years for the Timmins area. But on an overall basis for Claim Post, we set up Claim Post to explore Timmins. I'm a mining engineer, so I'm much more adept at evaluating ore bodies that have already been drilled off. So I've been keeping my eyes open for an acquisition for Claim Post, where we buy our way into either a gold or a base metal deposit that has already been discovered, probably somewhere in Canada or the U.S.
Very interesting goal, and I'm sure you will certainly reach that. So those are all the formal questions for now, Charles. However, my guest always gets the last word. Any final thoughts? Anything you'd like to add right now?
No, I'm happy with the exploration progress we've made. We're one of the few companies that's really just doing grassroots exploration. We're exploring the parts of the Timmins camp that the geologists felt had no potential in the past. The parts that people thought had potential have been very thoroughly explored. So the chances are there's nothing along the sort of main trends where people, have looked for the last 40 years or 50 years. We're looking at the spots or the areas where traditionally the geologists said there's no chance of a gold mine being there, because those are the only areas that are left that are unexplored.
So I guess you're kind of like Captain Kirk. You're going where no man has gone before that, huh?
Well, exploration of all the main camps like Sudbury, Kirkland Lake, Red Lake, have turned up surprising results. The old-timers weren't necessarily always right on where the gold mineralization or the base metal mineralization should be.
Okay, on that note, Charles, I want to thank you very much for your time and sharing your thoughts with us about Claim Post Resources.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Claim Post Resources trades on the TSX Venture Exchange under the symbol CPS. And you've been listening to Mr. Charles Gryba, President and CEO of Claim Post Resources, on A Few Minutes with the CEO, produced by RBL Communications. I'm Al O'Grady. Thanks very much for joining us.